Good Thursday morning. Welcome to the Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Craig Moeller. We're broadcasting from Southeast Virginia, covering Southeast Virginia, Northeast North Carolina, really the entire country. And we look around the world with our weather here at the Weather Desk as we tackle today's top weather headlines. And we've got a lot to go over. More severe weather and extreme weather over parts of the U.S. Fire danger. We'll talk about all of this. National severe weather outlook upcoming as well. We'll show you not only who's been dealing with storms, but who's going to see more of that. So a lot to break down with that. We also have information coming out of Venezuela, that deadly earthquake, very powerful earthquake. And we'll break down more on that. Another earthquake in a different part of California, a place that typically doesn't see stronger earthquakes. They got hit yesterday morning with a pretty good one. We'll have detail on that one as well. We also have dangerous heat continuing over Europe. Have you heard how hot it's been around Paris and Bordeaux? Up into London, they've been dealing with extreme heat in that part of the world. We'll have more on that and how it's impacting travel and some other things. We also have the brand new drought monitor. Been waiting to see if Monday's heavy rain will impact the drought monitor for our region, and it has for some areas. I'll show you a comparison last week to this week. And then we're going to take a look at what's going on for the week ahead. We've got some good news and some not so great news in this extended forecast, and I'll let you know what all that means. We'll also take a peek at the tropics and some other things going on. So plenty to get to this morning. We're going to start while it's calm here. We do have some high thin clouds showing up on the Thompson Creek Window Company sky view. It's a pretty good day, though, here in Hampton Roads. It has been a rough day for other parts of the country. We talk about the elevated fire risk, these areas showing up with the kind of tan or yellowish orange color here. The areas in red have red flag warnings up. Very high concern for wildfires and those fire conditions, dry, breezy conditions, very hot conditions in some locations. Vegas, it includes areas just out from the Salt Lake Valley west and down to the south, which get down towards Provo and south into northern Arizona, western parts of Colorado, parts of Washington State and northern Oregon. They're dealing with that. The severe weather has been wreaking havoc across the country. We mentioned the wildfire threat and the fire danger out west. There's been flooding in the south. John Lorink has the report.
The Cottonwood Fire could end up being the most catastrophic wildfire in Utah history.
Because the fire has been so destructive, because it's burning so hot and so fast, we haven't been able to get in and assess all of the loss there, but it's certainly catastrophic.
Tens of thousands of acres are already scorched. As of Wednesday night, officials say it was 0% contained.
We knew it was going to be a very difficult fire season, knew it would start early, and sure enough, it has happened.
Other parts of the nation are also dealing with significant meteorological problems. Residents across Colorado are on high alert as forecasters are calling for hail, strong winds, and tornadoes, which are expected to last throughout Thursday and into Friday. Over in Oklahoma, people are confronting the aftermath of heavy rains that caused floods, sending crews to perform water rescues from Tulsa to Ataka County.
We saved them all, got them all out of their vehicles, no injuries, so we're lucky in that aspect.
And in West Virginia, massive downpours drenched Logan and Boone counties, leaving people with a lot of cleanup to do.
Got 4 feet in my garage, 2 feet in my house. It was up above my hood on my tractor. It was a major mess.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
All right, we're going to take a look at the severe weather outlook as we go forward, and I want to show you what's happening in Kansas right now. Let's take this map full, and what I can tell you is there's an area of low pressure and a warm front lifting through from the west and the southwest, and then you've got a cold front sagging south. You can see along this line there are numerous flash flood warnings, but we have this area here as we take a look just south of Hallett and around Calvesta. Again, this is in Kansas, and not only are they dealing with heavy rain, but you see this area where kind of this southwest notch right in here along this line, a little more intensity. They are watching this whole area in here for potential rotation, and there is this thunderstorm warning. So as we take a look at this, I just want you to know there is a severe thunderstorm warning. It'll go until 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, and there is potential rotation with that cell. So they're dealing with very heavy rain, some gusty winds, a real mess there in Kansas. So we'll continue to monitor that. Again, nothing confirmed, but that is radar indicated potential rotation with that cell. It's out in a fairly sparsely populated area. But again, we're watching all parts of the country here on the weather desk, and you can see there is more unsettled weather there. Also some unsettled weather back across portions of the Great Lakes. Just rain showers right now. High pressure is dominating in the east. We've got this warm front that's going to extend back across southern Arkansas and Mississippi right now. Some more showers there. How about the severe weather outlook? Well, as we take a look, the greatest chances for severe weather down across southern Kansas and southwest Missouri. We do have the chances for storms. I think some of these will become strong and severe with potential for heavy rain, maybe some flooding issues there as well. So we'll continue to monitor that. The hail potential is there. Southern Kansas, Oklahoma, back into the panhandle of Texas and eastern Colorado. Again, this is an area that's been hit pretty hard over the past few days. We also have another area back there associated with that area I was showing you around the Great Lakes. As that works east, the trailing front may trigger some activity. St. Louis, Cincinnati, back up through Pittsburgh and even into western parts of New York State. Strongest wind potential, same area here, southern Kansas, Oklahoma, and the Texas Panhandle. They have to be mindful of this and watch very carefully. And then we have to talk about the tornado potential later today. You guessed it, that bullseye over southern Kansas and northern Oklahoma. Now you see that area hashed. That means there could be some larger tornadoes, EF2 or greater, from Dodge City down to Woodward, back over to Ponca City. You can see Independence and Wichita all included in that area that is highlighted. 5% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of any given point in the orange. And again, the hashes, those white hashes, meaning there is the potential for larger, better organized tornadoes. Outlook for Friday, just marginal, level 1 right now across much of the same region under the gun today. That area across the Ohio River Valley, that slid a little farther to the east. It now really focuses more on the northeast. Boston, you can see up into southern Maine, southern parts, excuse me, of New Hampshire, Vermont, back into eastern New York State. This will be the primary area, some winds, a little bit of hail out here to the west. And again, there might be some hail across parts of New England. Tornado potential this time just off to the southeast of Missouri, southern Illinois, down through Paducah, Kentucky, Carbondale, Effingham, over to Evansville, Indiana, and Bloomington through Louisville, Kentucky. Those areas will want to be mindful. As we look ahead to the weekend, you can see Saturday chances for storms, Montana into North Dakota and South Dakota. And then we've got this marginal risk here. This does include the Hampton Roads viewing area, so you can bet we're going to be watching this very, very carefully. We're going to take a short break. Next, the death toll is climbing in Venezuela after powerful earthquakes shook the country last night. We'll have a closer look at rescue efforts underway this morning. Welcome back to the Weather Desk. You know, in the last 24 hours, earthquakes have shaken several countries, including Venezuela. We want to focus on this. You can see, again, where the strongest earthquakes have been. We have a couple around Caracas, a little bit weaker, but they've occurred more frequently, or more recently, I should say. I want to take you here right now and show you, this is the big one here that occurred, 7.5. Let's take you live there now, where search and rescue efforts are underway. The death toll there now stands at 164, while more than 900 people are injured, and those numbers are expected to keep climbing. ABC's Sophie Flay has the latest.
This morning, concern about aftershocks after two powerful earthquakes rocked Venezuela, hitting less than a minute apart. The first, a 7.2 magnitude quake.
An earthquake just shook the entire building.
Then, 39 seconds later, and just miles away, a 7.5 quake. People fleeing into the streets of Caracas, buildings swaying, smoke plumes rising from the city. Crowds gathering around collapsed buildings, told to keep silent as first responders yelled out to people buried in the rubble. Victims pulled from beneath buildings. Officials warning the casualties could be high. This video shows part of the Caracas airport collapsing in a cloud of dust. People still inside. The quakes are the largest to hit Venezuela in more than a century. The last 24 hours have seen smaller earthquakes from Japan to the U.S. This 5.6 magnitude quake hitting Northern California. Wine bottles and groceries flying off shelves at this store in Upper Lake.
I was shaking from head to toe. My hands were shaking. I was watching wine bottles drop and just break and the wine go everywhere. It felt like it lasted for 20 minutes.
The quake lasted 30 seconds and was felt as far as San Jose, 180 miles to the south. And across the Pacific, a 6.9 magnitude quake struck off the coast of Japan. No major damage was reported there. Experts say there's no indication the seismic events are related. Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
All right, the U.S. State Department says it will send crews to Venezuela to help with search and rescue efforts. Northern California also felt impacts. I'm going to show you that in just a moment, but just very quickly, 7.2. This was where the first earthquake was centered there, and then within a minute, that second one was 7.5. That was the big one. And Caracas here, where you were seeing so much of the video when the damages, they're about 100 miles away. So you think a little bit of a distance, but obviously this whole region here, Venezuela, shaken with that massive earthquake, or those two massive earthquakes. All right, I do want to take you to California now, because here in the United States, you can see a little bit of activity down across Texas. Earthquakes do occur, but north of San Francisco, this is an area that typically doesn't see larger earthquakes. And as we take a closer look, we come up into this part of California. You see there was a powerful one. Northern California feeling the impacts of a 5.6 magnitude earthquake yesterday. No reports of major damage. And you saw video from Sophie Flay's report of some of the wine bottles coming off of the store shelves up there. A large earthquake for an area that typically gets little ones but doesn't see anything that big. All right, we're going to take another break. Next, Europe is still dealing with dangerous heat as the heat wave now extends, how it's impacting travelers in England. Welcome back to the weather desk. Take a look at the satellite images. You can see there's a swirl right here, an area of low pressure, and out ahead of that, there is a warm south flow that has been pumping hot air into Europe. Take a look at these numbers, the temperatures right now. Again, these are current readings across Europe. 102 in Bordeaux, Paris 102. Yesterday they had triple-digit heat. That hot weather in the 90s yesterday up in London, it has been a big ongoing problem. Remember, some of these northern European cities have a lot of housing and businesses without air conditioning because typically they don't really need it. Well, these cities across Europe are experiencing obviously brutal heat, and it continues. People in London have been told not to travel unless absolutely necessary, as the rising temperatures have caused widespread cancellations and delays in the south of England. Claire Sebastian reports from Victoria Station.
This is one of London's biggest rail hubs, Victoria Station, and you only have to look at the departure boards inside the station to see just how much the transport network is being affected by the weather. We've seen trains delayed, some even cancelled. There's a critical express train that runs from here to one of London's biggest airports, Gatwick Airport, and as of the middle of the afternoon on Wednesday, it is currently not running. So passengers have been advised not to travel unless absolutely necessary, but of course some people have to, and we've been speaking to some of those about how they've had to adapt.
Going back to Worthing, my little boy's had to be off school because he's been sick with heat exhaustion.
I've been traveling through London, and it's so hot. I Ubered to the train station even though it's a 15-minute walk. It's been a nightmare.
This isn't just a railway station, this is also a bus station, and conditions on these buses, many of which are not air conditioned, have been getting pretty difficult.
We're not prepared for this, not at all. It's 35 degrees, the AC is not working.
With temperatures like these set to go on for a couple more days, with all of this disruption sending a ripple effect through the economy, it's a real wake-up call for this city and its decades-old transport system that simply wasn't built for these temperatures. Claire Sebastian, CNN, at Victoria Station in London.
Back here at home in the U.S., we've got heat building as well across much of the southern U.S., a dangerous heat wave, and we're going to experience some of that in Hampton Roads. Today, temperatures will be close to maybe a little bit below average. We've been enjoying that, but as a front lifts back through the area, heat is going to build tomorrow and into Saturday. We're talking mid-90s and another heat wave coming next week, so you need to be prepared for that. Meteorologist Taylor Stephenson explains how high temperatures can impact your body.
This is the time of year when heat-related illnesses become a major concern. Most people don't know that those illnesses and related symptoms can develop at temperatures as low as 80 degrees. When the feels-like temperature falls between 80 and 89 degrees, prolonged time outside or outdoor physical activity can lead to fatigue, especially if you're not staying hydrated. Once the heat index reaches 90 to 104 degrees, heat cramps and heat exhaustion become possible. When the feels-like temperature climbs into the 105 to the 129 degree range, heat exhaustion becomes likely and heat stroke is possible. With prolonged exposure, heat stroke is highly likely under a rare heat index of 130 degrees or higher. If someone you know is showing signs of heat stroke, call 911 immediately. Heat-related illnesses can affect anyone, but older adults, young children, outdoor workers, and people with chronic health conditions are especially vulnerable. If you're spending time outside during a hot day, wear lightweight clothing, stay hydrated, take frequent breaks, and never leave children or pets inside of a parked vehicle. For 13 News Now, I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson.
Thank you, Taylor. All right, this was a drought monitor across Hampton Roads last week. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, I'll show you how things have changed. We were in severe to extreme drought. Have we seen relief? I'll tell you right after the break. Welcome back. All right, I said this was the drought monitor from last week. You can see extreme drought for Isle of Wight, Suffolk. You can see into Southampton. Extreme drought for parts of the northern neck. Other areas in severe drought. As we show you the updated one, this is the one that just came out this morning. You can see the extreme drought, and those areas have been peeled back. Still severe drought. We're still in drought. But remember, this just accounts for conditions up through Monday. And it was late Monday, we had an inch of rain. So we had that heavy rain later Monday. That's going to contribute to next week's drought monitor, along with the incredibly heavy rain we saw Tuesday. I'm hopeful next week, 1 week from today, when we show the updated conditions, more of this area will be moderate. For now, we're still severe, but not as bad. Already that recent rainfall starting to chip away at some of the extreme heat. Wanted to share some good news down across the southeast. Remember when it was exceptional for this area? It was a dark, kind of burgundy, very dark red. Well, they've gotten so much rain from Arthur and recent storms, they're in much better shape. Still a lot of drought out across the west, but many of these areas starting to get some relief now from heavy storms. Quickly, we'll update you on the tropics. As far as the Atlantic basin goes, we are not anticipating any development over the next 7 days. A lot of Saharan dust. We had this very dry, dusty air blow across the Atlantic basin from Africa. So right now, no tropical activity expected there. In the Pacific, we have two areas. One really has gone away. I think that just updated. There was a 10% chance there, but I think Hurricane Center's just taken that out with an update within the last 15 minutes or so. There's a 70% chance for this to develop as it moves westward. We'll keep an eye. At this point, it is not a threat to Hawaii, but it will be something we'll want to watch if it does develop over time. All right, here locally, we're going to see clouds mixing with the sunshine for a while. Skies becoming mainly clear overnight, back into the upper 60s to low 70s tomorrow morning. And then during the day, it gets hotter, low 90s. We might see a couple of stray showers or a stray storm later in the day tomorrow, but the better chance is coming tomorrow evening. Around 11 o'clock, you see some of those showers and storms pushing through. After that, another round of scattered wet weather coming up as we get into the afternoon on Saturday. Some of those showers and storms off to the north. Another front pushing in, and that's where we have the potential, that marginal risk for severe storms. So maybe some wind associated with those and some heavy rain coming through late Saturday. At the beaches today, pretty good beach day. I know we've got some clouds filtering the sunshine, but you can still get a sunburn. Very high UV index, rip current threat is low. Water temperature 74 with the waves in the surf zone about 2 feet. Water's pretty calm on the ocean. We do have a small craft advisory going up later today on the bay. All right, across the south side, temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. You'll see low 80s at the beach. Looking off to the north, temperatures there in the low 80s around Cape Charles and Melfa. Mid 80s to upper 80s from the peninsula to Williamsburg. 85 around Gloucester. Warm down to the south for interior North Carolina. Low 80s at the Outer Banks. Here's the rest of the 7-day forecast. As I mentioned, we will see mainly clear skies tonight. Then the hot weather Friday and Saturday, storms late Saturday, nicer into next week, but another warm up on the way. We'll see you next time.